Because...
So there's the Dark
And
Trooper
then Thrawn's is like 8 years after Return of the Jedi, right?
Something I could go find one of my books and just look up the time. Oh, actually, here I happen to have a book right here. What do you know?
Oh, also,
They
what do
all
you
have timelines at the beginning.
Oh, also, what do you guys know about Moff Rebus?
Moff?
Nothing.
Engineer Moff Rebus. Well, Moff is a title, so, but I'm assuming that doesn't apply here.
Well, he's apparently an Imperial weapons designer, but I don't know to what capacity. It seems like he's like a freelance contractor, because instead of being protected by the Empire, he protected himself by building a maze in the sewers of this planet and having Imperial robots infest it.
Yeah, I love Star Wars so much. That's this thing is why I love Star Wars.
What?
Actually, apparently, the X-Wing books take place before the Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah, no, they do. I knew that, because...
the X-Wing books are, other than, like, some of the side story stuff, are, like, some of the first books after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, there's...
like, the Truce at Bakura and Shadows of Endor, and that's...
Yeah. Because the Thrawn books were actually the first EU content written, and so that's why they kind of set the timeline. Is they, like, Timothy Zahn was just like, alright, I'm gonna write this, I'm gonna set it 8 years after Return of the Jedi, these things have happened, this stuff's going on. But yeah, and then all of the Rogue Squadron comics all take place, like, almost immediately after Return of the Jedi. And then there's a couple of novels, and then there's video games, and I'm trying to remember what other content takes place in between Return of the Jedi and the Rogue Squadron books. Because chronologically, Rogue Squadron 1 is like parts of Rogue Squadron, the series, take place during the Thrawn books, chronologically.
Yeah, I suppose they kind of have it all listed here. There's only one that definitively takes place after.
Mm-hmm.
Well, two, I guess, counting the one that I'm looking at that came out that takes place way, way, way later.
Yeah.
But...
So what were you saying? What was the reason about this that made you remember why you love Star Wars?
That there's a maze with robots and it's in the sewers and a guy made it himself. Like,
okay.
The reasons.
Also, I like that among the things that are defending him are the weird, like, tiny laser training drone that Luke used in the first movie.
Yeah.
They do 1 damage if they shoot you.
Look, I guess when somebody's attacking you, you send all of your stuff.
Yeah.
Regardless of...
A droid is a droid.
Well, so these are also like in Imperial bases later on. Like they are a thing that is designed to be frustrating to fight and literally nothing else.
Yeah.
I suppose so. Just
also, I love that the galactic timeline for Star Wars has BBY and ABY as the demarcations. What are those? Can you guess what it is?
I know. Yeah. Or do you want Matt to guess?
I kind of want Matt to guess.
Okay.
BBY and ABY.
BBY and ABY. So that's before and that's after and before, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Man, shit. I don't know what BY could be.
Zach?
It's the Battle of Yavin.
It is the Battle of Yavin.
Oh, right. So, okay. So before, that's how they demarcate before Star Wars and after Star Wars.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Let's see. Battle of Hoth, Battle of Endor. Alright, so 4 years after the Battle of Yavin, New Republic is established. You're saying so all of the
that would be with
that's all of the comics, because the Rogue Squadron comics are
But that would also be the books, right? Because don't they? Isn't it when they capture Coruscant that they go from being the rebellion to the New Republic?
No, they establish. What is it? Let me look at the actual timeline here. Let's see. Empire Strikes Back, Tales of the Bounty Hunters, Tales of the New Republic. All right, so it's Return of the Jedi, Bounty Hunter Wars 1, 2, and 3, then Truce of Bakura.
Yep. And then
it's interesting. The
Luke Skywalker and the Shadows of Mindor.
Yeah, it's interesting. The X-Wing comics aren't listed here.
Yeah, like the books. Well, I have the book timeline, and the books only list the books. They don't list any of the comics because the comics are all over the freaking place.
Yeah, it's interesting. But it's interesting because the Rogue Squadron comics are actually, in a lot of ways, more compelling characters than the Rogue Squadron books that aren't Wraith Squadron.
Yeah.
The comics have some really cool stuff in them, and it's all the stuff with Baron Soontir Fel and like the crazy backstory about that and Wedge and yeah. Anyway, this is gonna make sense to no one.
Is that where like literally every character that fought in the Death Star battle somehow has like a long history where we learn the rich and complex history of Jack fucking Porkins?
Actually, yes. Actually, yes. Starklighter and
Jack Porkins is like, aside from Wedge Antilles, Jack Porkins is like the only character who participated in that battle whose name I know.
Yeah,
only because he's a fat guy who was fucking named Porkins.
And
you don't remember Big Starklighter as Luke's friend?
Yeah. The best part about Porkins' death is that in canon, he fucking crashes because he doesn't have his inertial compensator turned up, so he has it set to 0 because he's so fat and he doesn't like feeling the weight while he's flying.
Or he has it too high, I thought.
No, because he has it completely turned down. He has it.
Yeah, he has it so high he can't feel what his ship is doing. So
oh my god, so his death is just a giant fat joke.
Yeah.
He died literally. He couldn't pull up because he was too fat.
Yeah. Well, no, he could pull up. He didn't know that he wasn't.
Yeah, the thing is, he didn't know because he couldn't feel what his ship was doing, so he couldn't tell that he wasn't going to be able to pull out of the dive he was in, so he didn't say, eject something.
Because space...
Can you actually eject out of an X-Wing?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you can. Yeah, pretty much all the Starfighters...
It's a glass canopy with, like, no breathing apparatus.
All of the pilots wear, like, sealable flight suits, basically.
Well, the pilot's flight suit is sealed. The helmet that they wear has a shield, and then they actually have a life support. What is it? Is it life support? Like a force field that goes around them, or is there also a force field and then it just seals and they have a life support system? I can't remember. But essentially they can survive for like less than an hour out of the cockpit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's basically supposed to be... I think they can potentially survive longer than that, but it's basically enough that you can like potentially get them
within the course of a battle, someone can pick you up.
Yeah.
Man, you are just going in circles in this level.
Yeah. Well, like so this is a level that honestly the first time I played it took me an hour. Because it's like you have to go into each of these chambers, and within each of these chambers you have to find a switch, and in order to get into this guy's place, you have to have all 3 switches flipped, which will raise up the water so you can swim across to like a platform across from there, and that leads to another place. Like it's like the craziest design. And also on top of that, after you hit all 3 switches, you have to figure out which of the passages will actually take you to the place that is opened by pushing all the buttons.
Also, if you were going to design a maze to keep people from getting to you, wouldn't you design it so that once you were inside of it, the only way out was from that point, and that there was no other way in?
Yeah, probably.
Like, why does he leave a way in?
I assume because
maybe
you have
maybe
some
it's made
verifiability to get in. Like maybe it's by
Right, but
well, no. See, Sam, it's like
design it so that you can get in, and then whatever you use to get in, you just turn off, like,
yeah,
or blow up, like.
Well, no, see, it's like castle doctrine, because you have to demonstrate first that you can get into your own home without using tools, and then you want to make it so that it entices people to come in and die, so you get bounties. Literally, nobody's going to get that joke.
Oh, I see. So this guy is just having random hobos wander into his
sewer house. Yeah, to steal all his nice shit.
Just backpacks full of thermal detonators.
Yeah, yeah, I get a lot. This is the level where they're introduced. They have a basic fire, which. So the thing that annoys me, you can aim up and down, but no matter which way you aim, the thermal detonators will always go in the same arc.
Yeah.
The thing that changes
game design.
The thing that changes them, you can hold down the mouse, and the longer you hold down the mouse, the farther you'll throw the thermal detonator.
Oh, that's
also if you do alt fire, you activate a 3-second fuse, so you can throw it and it'll like land and bounce, and you can run away. And that's a thing I don't learn until much later. I also don't learn that you can throw them much farther by holding down the mouse until way later. When it's absolutely necessary. Also, yeah, first-person platforming, hooray!
Way to fuck up! I saw you look to the other platform, say nah, and then try for it, and then fail.
Yeah, well, I don't got time to jump on platforms, Sam.
I assume that might be one of the jumps, because it looks like there's just an energy pickup on that side that you just make via sprinting, and then.
Yeah, if I knew how to sprint, a lot of the platforming sections in this would be quicker. Also, yeah, we fight a bunch of Grands here, or Grans, I don't know. I call them Grands.
What are they? Gans? Yeah.
I don't...
G-A-N-D-S?
The GR, it's the three-eyed guys. The game refers to them as Grands, G-R-A-N-S, in the plural.
Oh, Bronze?
Are they Grans? Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, those might be... Yeah.
Those are like a 5th enemy type. All they do is they'll either throw thermal detonators at you, or if you're too close where they would injure themselves with splash damage, they will punch you. And in a lot of cases, their punching is actually more lethal than their thermal detonators because punching bypasses your shields.
Oh.
And they can punch really fast. Like if they punch you 5 times, you're dead.
I guess these must be mercenaries of some sort, because Grands are peaceful. I don't know. Game, why you make no sense?
Game, why are you making me so angry? And yeah, every time you kill them, you get like 5 thermal detonators. And hey, there is that guy whose name I just totally blanked on right now.
Moff, whatever.
Yeah, Moff Rebus.
Oh, it's just...
Yeah, I found Moff Rebus. I'm ready to get out of this mess.
What, is he just sitting there, holding his gun?
Yep.
He just doesn't do anything to you, even though you just survived his death.
So I'm guessing
phase.
They probably had a boss fight in store, and it's like, wait, how are you supposed to capture him? There's no non-lethal weapons in this game.
Yeah.
So now we go to the weapons facility because we interrogate Rebus. Should have seen the results of my test on the place that we destroyed, all them rebel scum, etc., etc.
I do like that this is basically like an investigation, even though it is like shoot your way through each level.
Yeah.
You're following a trail of
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got an interesting sort of plot for the game it is, and also the environments are really heavily varied.
Mm-hmm.
Like as much as they can be for the limited design, but like we've seen so many different kinds of places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this level's doomy as hell.
Yeah. I also like there's sort of an interesting thing that I hadn't noticed until this level where there's 2 different themes. Where if you're just walking around, there's like a general ambient theme, and then it'll switch to a combat theme when you start shooting dudes.
Cool.
And this is the level where I learned you can aim up and down. And the way that you aim up and down, to aim up, you press page down. To aim down, you press page up.
Oh, yeah.
That was how you did it back in the day.
Gotta love inverted controls.
Yep, and it also makes it super easy if you have to fight an enemy that is say flying and also moves very fast and also is shooting at you.
I wonder if we're gonna do one of those things this game.
I wonder. Also, I'm using my pistol more because I finally realized, oh, it uses less ammo than my blaster rifle and is slightly more accurate.
But counterpoint, you have like 300 ammo.
You start burning through that pretty fast. This, like, in the early levels, you'll really stock up on it because you're fighting like nothing but stormtroopers that carry blaster rifles, and each of those give you 15 blaster ammo. Sometimes you shot
the shit out of that
yeah.
shelf.
So the thing is, to compensate for how there's enemies on different levels, but it's really hard to aim. This game has an auto targeting system that works most of the time.
Until it doesn't.
Sometimes, sometimes you just shoot a wall. In fact, it's much harder to fight enemies in close. Like, if you're at point blank, it's really hard because the auto-targeting doesn't pick up unless you're within, like, a certain cone of them.
Yeah. You just murdered those guys.
Oh, I didn't because the thermal detonator did not go as far as I wanted, but now...
Oh, there you go. That was... that was vicariously satisfying even in old Doomy games. Just, bam, they're all gone.
They go flying.
Yeah, there's the practice run I did for this level, I actually managed to get them all from the ledge. And I was hoping I could do that again. There's certain things that I just managed to get, like, serendipitously that I could never repeat.
That is the nature of this type of game. Is that the controls are so wonky that sometimes you just do something amazing and you have no idea how you did it.
Yeah. Also, extra life.
Yay!
So the way lives work in this game is actually super generous. If you lose all of them, then you lose the entire level and you have to restart. There's no checkpointing or anything like that. But if you die, it will like bring you back at what would be basically a checkpoint spot, except you don't have to redo anything.
Oh, nice.
Like everything is just as dead and you have just as much ammo as you had before.
That's cool.
So there are some bosses you can defeat just by like dying at them enough times. Because they're just as damaged as the first time.
Ah, yes, the Bioshock Infinite method of play.
Oh yeah, with the whatever the revive tanks.
Yeah, fuck the handyman.
Also, Imperial Commandos. I have not seen them in any other part of the Star Wars fiction, but apparently tougher than Stormtroopers.
They I know you see them in the movies.
Yeah, they're definitely in the movies, but
like
they
make a less prominent role than the Stormtroopers, though.
Yeah.
They also have like super weird, like they look like Viking helmets.
Yeah.
What I find funny is that is that in the Star Wars universe, the higher your rank, the less armor you wear.
Yeah.
I mean, to some degree, that's how it works in actual military.
It makes sense because it makes sense from the thing that generally speaking, the higher your rank, the less like
the less fighting you have to do. Yeah,
combat. If you are, I still think you are going to be as well equipped as anyone if you are, actually going out into the field like this.
What's funny is that canonically, not wearing Stormtrooper armor kind of makes you more equipped to fight because Stormtrooper armor is really terrible, and it's like, it's like a fitted. It's not even fitted. It's like a specifically shaped plastic that it is extremely hindering. Like, you can't see shit out of it. It's impossible to move in, and it doesn't do its job as body armor.
Nice.
Right, because it'll deflect glancing blows, but it does nothing for a direct hit.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another trope of old shooters and really old games in general, impossibly huge vents that for some reason are... This one actually kind of makes sense because they
still do that.
So this one they actually make sense though because they put in a giant gun turret to shoot at you if you come in that way.
Fair enough.
There's also
I
a
guess.
fan. There's also a fan you have to get past, but it's like super easy for a fan that's supposed to be moving air.
Oh man,
So,
goggles.
You went from having a flashlight to night vision, huh?
Yeah, you actually get both of them. I will use the flashlight more than night vision because night vision drains your battery super fast.
It also sucks ass. Like you could see more with the flashlight than you can.
So it works in certain situations. The way that night vision works is it will light up enemies.
Gotcha.
And it also when you're using it, enemies can't see you like they can when you're using the flashlight. If you're in a dark area and you're using night vision, you can walk in front of an enemy and they don't see you. They're there.
Cool.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
But yeah, for the most part, night vision is hot garbage. It actually gets even worse in Dark Forces 2 because it doesn't even light up enemies like it does in this one.
Nice.
Oh, mouse droid.
I love.
Oh, I wonder if that's the one. Is that the one that has the secret message? In one of the Dark Forces, in one of the Star Wars shooters.
In Dark Forces 2, it's a trash can, one of the trash can robots. I can't remember what they're called. I think they're called like Gronks or something. If you bump into them 7 times, if you bump into one of them 7 times, they'll start saying that one of the model designers for the game is a god in Morse code.
Yeah, that was.
But the Morse code is in their weird little like Gronks.
Yeah.
Because they'll do long and short Gronks.
That's great. Also, yeah, I love the fucking mouse droids. They took down a Super Star Destroyer one time.
What?
Zach knows what I'm talking about.
Please tell me this story. I need to know this
Refresh
story.
my memory.
Alright, so in the Raid Squadron subseries of Rogue Squadron books, there is a character at one point who is a spy who becomes a double agent and then joins the Alliance and then goes back to this warlord, this Imperial warlord who's a really creepy, evil guy named Zinj.
Yeah.
And he steals a Super Star Destroyer at one point to supplement his other Star Destroyer. And
like you do.
Like you do. And that plan is foiled and all, but at one point one of the double agent gets betrayed, or gets outed, and basically has to run back to Zinj, but then decides to get in good with him and then fuck him over. And she does that by secretly programming all of the mouse droids using her astromech to redo their programming, take control of them, and refit them with magnetic stripping instead of wheels so that they can climb on the outside of the ship, and then subverts enough of them that at one point when the trap is sprung to take down Zinj, she starts taking apart his Super Star Destroyer from the inside with the thousands of mouse droids that she has subverted to her cause. They attack the engines and the hyperspace generator and some of the weaponry from the inside and outside. They just start taking it apart.
God, that's right.
They're little manipulators. It's amazing.
Nice. So she did the Squirrel Girl tactic.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Yeah, I'll say as much that the sole reason that mouse droids exist in this game is if you punch them, they give you a battery. And if you get a battery cell, that recharges your flashlight and your infrared goggles, and there's like 5 other devices that for some reason use battery power, including a gas mask.
Why did you grenade that one guy?
Because I didn't want to. Yeah, I wanted to stay behind cover. Also, I cheat a little bit here, but I make up for it. Because I played through this level already. I know the code to open this door.
Nice.
I do kill the guy that's supposed to give me the code though later on, and he drops the code. And I have to I don't know what any of the characters are, so I have them all written down on like a piece of paper.
Yeah, Star Wars is kind of weird in that, it actually subverts almost a lot of standard kind of like sci-fi or sci-fi fantasy conventions, in that while there is a common language called Basic, and it speaks like English, it's written like nothing.
Oh yeah.
Like, anytime you see it down, that's why there's all, like, the funky lettering on everything. That's actually basic written down in Star Wars. It's unrecognizable to...
Yeah, it's like if you read like in English, yeah.
With my copy of Star Wars Monopoly actually came with a guide for translating BASIC.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, and I remember I used it to translate the money that came with the game, and I don't remember what it says now.
That's cool. I didn't know that existed.
So this is another bizarre little like switch puzzle thing.
Oh, I love switch puzzles, and by love them I mean hate them so much.
So here's what you have to move this platform. There's 3 different doors you have to open, and each of the doors, when you open it, it goes to this bridge that will come outside of this column. And when you go to the column, there's a switch on the column you push, and when you push all the buttons on the switch, it opens the door in the top.
Yep.
Yep.
It must suck to be day shift in this facility. God
yeah,
damn it.
no, it's like working at like Umbrella Corporation.
Yeah.
You can't make it to the lunchroom without getting like an opalescent pearl and
a crest.
A crankshaft.
Okay, so here's a question: What evil group more likely to kill you themselves, Umbrella or the Empire?
The Empire will kill you themselves. Umbrella will fuck up and kill you.
Oh, okay, fair, but
yeah, no, Umbrella will kill you. They'll just kill themselves in the process. Cause...
The Empire will kill you for fucking up. Umbrella will fuck up and kill you.
Yep.
Umbrella will inevitably fuck up all the time. They are the Jesse White of or not Jesse White. Jesse
White.
Who's Jesse Pinkman?
Jesse White. That was an interesting slip of the tongue.
Yeah.
Breaking
Jesse
Bad
White
spoilers. Walt adopts Jesse.
Oh yeah, because it's Walter. Yeah, Walter White. Actually, it was more a thing that Jesse White is the Secretary of State of Illinois. And I always remember him because his name's on my driver's license.
Oh god, dogs. There's
Suddenly dogs,
run.
thousands of them.
Run. Oh, this is such gameplay.
Yeah, no, this is
awesome.
it's yeah.
It's still better than Silent Hill Homecoming.
Yeah, I'll say that a lot of points, like, I can understand why this was created from a gameplay perspective, because this is actually, like, sort of interesting to play as a game, but if you consider a lot of these levels, if you consider them from the narrative, it's like...
Oh, yeah.
You'll do a whole bunch of, like, weird switches to open doors that are locked from both sides with, like, no means to open them, and there's, like, dudes in there.
Yeah, how did the stormtroopers get in? And what are they guarding?
They're guarding the button, duh.
They're guarding nothing.
They're guarding that button that if you push all of them, opens a big door.
Also, I like how you,
really
after doing 2 rooms with 2 stormtroopers each, think that the 3rd room only has 1 guy and gets shot.
I thought the other guy was around the corner.
Even though he says halt or we'll shoot.
Well, no, because I thought it was the dude that saw me when I walked into the room. Because in the other rooms, there was one room where there was one room where they're both in front of the wall. There's one room where they're both behind the wall. So I just sort of assumed that it was one of those other things instead of a room where one is in front of the wall and one of those behind the hall.
Also, that bit of metal was just chilling up at the top of that column.
Yeah, you know.
See, man, you are really trusting in this game that, like, maybe it's because I used to play Duke Nukem, but whenever I'm on anything moving up and down, I'm frantically looking around like, this isn't gonna smush me, is it?
Oh no, that happens later on. Actually, I had to wait for that elevator to go back up because you can get off at the bottom, but you end up in like toxic stuff that hurts you.
Nice.
So it's like, why would you?
Yeah, so you just wait, you go back up at the top, you come out this way.
I love textures that look like doors but aren't actually doors.
Yeah, I like when they paint doors on the wall. So yeah, I just did the entire second half of the level because you're supposed to backtrack here, but I actually knew the code that you're supposed to go through the other half of the level to get.
Well, presumably, like, you could do that anyway. Like, you could die and having got the code and then go back and just do it.
Yeah, but I don't know where it'll put you, because it puts you in different places every time you die. Unless you're talking about like if you ran out of lives and you just like decided to restart.
Yeah, exactly.
Surrender immediately.
You actually might like die here.
Yeah, no, I'm super close.
It should.
40 health, no shields.
Yeah.
40 health, no shields. It's like the worst short story name.
40 health, no shields, final destination, box only. And yeah, like I'm constantly moving like really cautiously around this level because this is where they introduce the gun turrets, which are boxes that will slowly rotate towards you that are barely perceptible, and when they shoot you, they have like things that will drain like 30. They have bolts that will drain 30 of your health or shields.
Ouch.
And they fire pretty constantly. Also, we get the Imperial repeater in this level, which I'm not sure is actually a gun that is anywhere else.
The what?
The Imperial repeater, the Imperial repeating rifle.
I gotta look this up.
Imperial repeater gun, also
there's heavy repeaters in Star Wars.
Also known as the auto gun. It fires blue energy bolts. Primary fire, it shoots 1 bolt. Secondary fire, it fires 3 bolts. According to Justin Shin, the name is pretty explanatory. This is my favorite gun. It uses standard off-the-shelf power cells. As explained in the game, this is the prototype for the Dark Trooper weapon. And actually, if you look at the Dark Trooper weapon that's collected and the sprite for this gun, they actually do look very much the same. The Dark Trooper weapon's just a lot bulkier.
Yeah, it's specifically a Dark Forces Jedi Knight canon weapon. It's not anywhere else in canon.
I cannot even see what you're shooting at.
I'm trying to shoot.
Oh.
Yeah. No, that's kind of the problem with this. That's also the problem I encountered with this game. Is you routinely cannot see what you're shooting at. You just know it's there, and you're going on faith. The game will auto-target it. So
okay.
yeah, it's that gun turret.
3 life.
So the Imperial repeater is really good at those gun turrets because it fires It has super accurate grouping at a distance.
Makes sense.
Like way better than the blaster rifle. The only reason that you use the blaster rifle is because sometimes you want to spread, like if you're shooting at the annoying like flying drones.
Yeah.
You want a gun that fires everywhere.
Yeah. You just want to fill the air with lead. By lead, I mean plasma.
Yeah, you want to fill the air with bolts. And then the other reason is the blaster rifle has a more common ammo type because everybody in this game carries blaster rifles or blaster pistols.
Mm-hmm.
Excepting a few levels, you're pretty much constantly going to be using the blaster rifle. Except a couple levels where there's another ammo type that is more common. Also, I do not even use thermal detonators that much. I actually hit the max limit on thermal detonators.
On carrying capacity?
Yeah, it's like you can carry like 50. Although then there is a level where I have to use about 30 of them in a row.
Also, I would like to point out that technically what you're carrying is actually a blaster carbine. Blaster rifles are different.
So yeah, the name for this weapon keeps changing. Because it's called either a blaster rifle, but they also call it, the official designation in the manual is the Stormtrooper laser rifle.
Yeah,
Or the Stormtrooper rifle.
It's a blaster carbine, because it's basically a blaster gun. Oh.
Because I'm like, oh, shields! And then it's like, oh, and then immediately I'm so focused on the shields that I don't notice the 2 auto cannons that are aiming at.
To be fair, they look exactly like lights. Like.
Yeah, no, they're super hard to notice because they are fucking like white boxes that are rendered in 3D.
Yep.
But yeah, no, because the blaster rifles are significantly longer. They look like World War I era rifles, in that they're like big old Mausers.
Oh, okay.
Here, I can pull up a picture.
There we go, and now I get the shields. And it's fortunate they cleared those out because that's how you that's how you get out of this level. That's actually, if I had gone deeper into that cave where I early on in the level where I killed that Imperial Commando. if I went deeper into that cave, I would actually see the other side of that door. And first time I played, I did not know what I was supposed to do for a long ass time. Because you see a door and like, oh, okay, there must be a switch nearby. And it's like, nope, the switch is on the other side of the door. Which is actually a very rare case of this game organizing its layouts logically. Because yeah, why in this like secret base would you put a door? Would you put a switch to open a door on the outside when it's supposed to be like full of dudes?
Yep. Also, it's pretty forward level design when considering that
this is a blaster rifle. This is a blaster carbine. The second one is what you're currently using.
Okay, I see.
It's just interesting that, like, canonically there is a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I've heard both. I never really knew what the difference was. So.
Yeah, the carbine is just a submachine gun, essentially.
Right. Yeah, that's why it's got a crazy spread and it shoots fast enough. It's supposed to be a bullet hose or a whatever.
Close range automatic. Yeah.
And also the logic of this level design kind of went out the window when this is also the level where they introduced switches that can only be activated by shooting.
I'd love to see that architect.
I picked up code key 5, which you can see in my inventory, and you read there, which I already entered.
Nice.
I also have the mission objective, and yeah, so I go through that. That's my PDA.
Also, we have an inventory. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's good. So all the power-up items like infrared goggles or well, there's special power-up items that only last for 50 seconds, which show up later on, like shield overcharge or weapon overcharge. Those only last for about a minute, and then there's equipment you can pick up like ice cleats and gas mask and infrared goggles, and those actually stick with you between levels.
Gotcha.
And that's what goes in your inventory in addition to things like you'll pick up keys, you'll pick up passcodes and stuff like that, and you can only read those by going into your inventory.
Okay, so what are you trying to do right here? Because it looks like you're just going in circles. Oh, okay.
That's because I was going in circles. You have to backtrack. You have to open the door. Like, at this point, I have the special metal that's apparently being used in the Dark Trooper armor, and I'm just trying to exfiltrate.
Oh, right. All those guys you murdered.
Yeah. No, yeah. I am... Kyle Katarn is the best at stealth and reconnaissance. He is the first assault. He is the first encounter assault recon team.
Fuck. Don't do that to me, Matt.
For what it's worth, in the book version of this, I'm pretty certain he is more of a sneaky. Like, he's good in a shootout, but he does like try to sneak in places.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing in the book he's not carrying like 10 guns on him.
That as well, yes.
He's just mysteriously hiding somewhere. And so we make it to the end. Also, I will point out, it doesn't happen in any of these parts, but if you fall to your death, it plays the Howie scream.
Nice. Alright, there's our ship, and that is gonna be the end of this mission and the end of our video.
Yep. I don't think there's not even a cutscene for... Oh, no, there is a cutscene! Yeah.
Cutscene
now we go to the weapons factory, so we'll see you next time, Internet.
Good night, Internet.
Good night.